By 2026, the creator economy will look completely different.
Every successful creator will have one thing in common.
It's the best thing that's happened to course creators who actually get it. People don't want to learn, they want to.
All right, let's address the elephant in the room for all course creators, membership site owners, and anybody publishing digital products. It's AI and whether AI is impacting the value of what it is that you're selling.
It's the best thing that's happened to course creators who actually get it. By 2026, the creator economy will look completely different.
Every successful creator will have one thing in common.
And I don't think it's what people actually think it is.
Let's talk about all of that and so much more coming up so that people can get ahead of it as we head into the rest of 2025 and certainly into 2026. Aim, I'm going to throw it over to you in terms of like, what are you seeing coming down the pipeline and what every successful creator should be thinking about?
Okay, so we have a 2026 prediction. We predict that every successful creator will have both an implementation program and a support community. So it's not one or the other anymore, an implementation program and a support community, not courses, not memberships, transformation ecosystems. We're already seeing this with some of our top performers, and I'm guessing you are too.
Yeah, because we've been talking about it for years that like courses and memberships, they go together like peanut butter and chocolate. But the reality of it is like, this is not a trend anymore. Like it's actually becoming the standard. And the reality of it is like, as creators, we can't depend on just one model because that's just not going to be enough. And the reality of it is that it's the compound effect of both of these things together, that transformation ecosystem that you're talking about, that's the combination that makes us unstoppable as creators. So I want to shift gears and I want to ask you, Amy, like, what changed all of this? Because before, you and I would talk about, selling courses, we would talk about selling memberships, we talked about how they were nice to go together, but now it's becoming like this must-have thing. So talk to me briefly about your perspective on why things are changing.
Okay, so we all know that AI has made information free. And a lot of people who haven't yet created a membership or a course yet, they're asking me like, well, what do you do now? Do memberships really work? Do courses really work now that information is free? And the answer is absolutely, if you get it. So those watching now, this is the mindset shift that we want you to make. So if information is free, implementation, getting it actually done, guiding people along the way, that becomes priceless. Customers got smarter. They demand real results. So with that, if customers are demanding real results, competition has increased. So the differentiation there is through transformation. People don't want to learn, they want to become. And when you think of implementation, that's where it's at. People don't want to learn, they want to become.
Whew, man, that is a powerful line. Now, the thing is about all of this, like AI has made all the information that was traditionally that we would sell. It, as you said, the price of or the value of that has just dropped dramatically because it's at everybody's fingertips now. But what's interesting, though, is that there's still a gap. There's a gap between like knowing what to do and how to do it and actually getting the result. And that's what you're talking about bridging. But to bridge that gap, we got to have like some structure and some support. So for all of us creators who are in this world helping people in a variety of different ways, how do we begin thinking about the perfect success formula to be able to provide that structure and support?
Okay, so the first thing you want to think about is the implementation program. So the transformation framework. So you're not going to create a course now and just throw in a bunch of information that's good to know. The way you create your course now is you make sure that everything you're teaching, there's an action that they can take with it. There's a framework that's very clear, a step by step, but not just do this, show them how to do it. The videos where maybe someone's cooking and they're in their kitchen and they're showing everything that's going on, that is really appealing right now, taking people behind the scenes. So first, an implementation program, not just information, step by step, show them how to do it. Also, structured milestones. So no longer are people just attracted to self-pacing. They're wandering is what they're doing. And it's hard to get to the finish line when you just self-pace yourself, when there's all this information at your fingertips. So now if we're guiding them, and there's so many different ways we can do this, guiding them along, they're not wandering anymore, and they're actually making the moves to get to the finish line. Also, built-in accountability. So it's not optional just to check in with people anymore. You have to absolutely make an effort to keep them accountable, whether it be you're reaching out, whether you create something really cool that you're popping in. Hey, I know where you're at right now. This is where we're going. Let me help you get there. So these are just a few things. I know you have, one I forgot is that personalized paths. So not one size fits all. Let me give you an example. Inside my program, we have added personal reviews of the marketing assets my students set up. Your sales page, your webinar reg page, your opt-in page. We're actually, as coaches, reviewing it and giving personalized feedback. AI will never do that at the level of someone who has the experience, me, who's been doing this for 16 years. I know what works and doesn't work. So getting my feedback and things like that, that becomes my differentiator in the industry.
Yeah. And I want to point out and just pick up on the whole personalized pass, because I think one of the opportunities for us as creators, whether it's people coming into a traditional course or even a traditional membership, is that we want to learn as much as we can about our people as they're coming in so that we then can personalize that path. So as an example, one of the things that we do is that we have a simple onboarding survey, and it just asks a few questions to help us identify, like, is this person at the beginning stages or are they much further along? And then based on that information, we can guide them to content that is going to be relevant and more specific to them. So I think there's a lot of opportunity now that there never was before to be able to personalize that experience, just like you're talking about. And then the other big second piece to this is that whole support community.
Yes.
And this is really where I think and want to encourage creators to just spend a little more time thinking about the support structure around what it is that you're teaching and helping people achieve. So as an example, like when people get stuck, where do they go? What do they do? Who do they talk to? And most times, like there's going to be the people that are working on something at like 2:34 in the morning, and they just want a quick response. So being able to have ways in which people can ask a question and immediately get a tailored response. By the way, that's how AI works in our favor in our courses and our memberships, right? Like you use this, right, Ames, in your membership?
Yeah, for sure. Anytime, ask any question you want, and my entire AP is built into, we call it Porter, our AI tool. You can ask Porter at 3 a.m. and I will be sleeping. However, I will be giving you the best answer. That's what's unique about courses and memberships when you put your own AI in there and it knows exactly how to answer it based on what you've already taught people.
Totally. Now, I'm incredibly biased because we use a tool inside of membership.io that enables us to do that. And same with you. But basically, as you said, you're building a library of all of your stuff.
Yes.
Like all of your content, all of your material. And then now that way, when your students have those questions at 2:34 in the morning, they ask it and boom, AI is going through that library and it's like, oh, that's relevant. And it's tailoring a response for that customer based on that question. So there's going to be those people that they don't want to interact with other humans, but they love to be able to have instant answers. Yeah. And then there's going to be that percentage of people that do like interacting with other humans and want, yeah, and they want to engage and they want to get feedback and they want to, be able to support others and be supported by others. And this is where like we as creators have got to think about what that experience looks like. So that's where like things like peer accountability groups and, weekly celebrations are all designed to help people continue the growth all throughout the program. And I'll just share one little thing around this that we did recently with our signature program was that we had a very specific outcome that we were marching everybody toward by the end of the program. And it had all of those things that you're talking about, Amy, like those milestones and that built-in accountability. But the other thing that it did was it had those check-in points where we were there holding each other accountable. Like the group was holding each other accountable. We as coaches were holding them accountable. And it allowed us to see whether people were falling behind or whether they were on track or not. And we had the most success rate we have ever had because we were all marching toward the same milestone and to complete the same thing on the same week. And so I think so much more energy and effort has to go into the things that we're talking about, the structure and the support.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. It becomes the most important thing and the differentiator. I keep saying that word because so many people feel like they're just getting lost in the online noise. Who's going to even notice me? My program's been done before. Will it really work? If you're really taking into account what we're saying, you will rise to the top.
Now, as you're thinking about this, there's a few things that become the non-negotiables, just like we talked about the structure and the support. But here's the amazing part about that. When you incorporate what we're talking about, you will see your customer success rates jump dramatically. As I mentioned, we saw upwards of 40% of our people coming through the program actually get the result that they came into it for. Isn't that amazing?
Amazing. Like, I haven't heard numbers like that in forever.
Yeah. And the amazing part about that was like content itself wasn't dramatically different, but the experience was. And that's what we're referring to here. Now, the other side of that is that when your customers begin to experience more success, that ultimately is going to translate into more revenue for you because there's more word of mouth. People are raving fans. And what happens is that when people have an amazing experience, the retention of those customers, specifically in a membership site, goes from months to years. So the more success you can help people get, the longer they are going to stay part of your programs and in your memberships. So it's all exciting stuff. Now, I want to ask you, Amy, when people are listening to this right now, what should they begin thinking about doing from this point forward?
Okay, the first thing is that you want to be an early mover. So take advantage of the fact that this is all unfolding right now, but it's unfolding rapidly. So you start now. You start creating your courses, your memberships. Get out there, take what we're saying and actually put it into play. And I think you've got about 12 months to perfect your model so you can rise to the top. So no more waiting, no more sidelines, no more, well, let me see how this AI thing shakes out or what's going to happen in the industry. No, get on it right now. That's how you win. Now, how do you do that? Well, the first thing is right now, starting today, you want to really build authority before there's a lot of market saturation, before everyone kind of clues into what we're talking about. They're not there yet. I promise you have an advantage today, but you've got to start building authority. How do you do that? You have a point of view. You need to have something that you would die on a hill for. Stu and I, we die on a hill for courses and memberships create freedom and opportunity and impact. And we talk about it more than maybe sometimes we want to, but we say it over and over again. You need that point of view and you need to say it many times in many different ways. That's going to build your authority. Next, you want to make sure that you have premium pricing while it's still novel. Do you agree with this, Stu?
Yeah, I think, the other day I saw somebody who was going in the opposite direction. They were discounting everything that they had to free. And I thought, gosh, like, why would you do that? Like, number one, it's probably the worst decision you can make because now you have no revenue coming in to be able to support people at the level that we're talking about.
So true.
Like premium pricing is still where it's at because people will pay for results. Don't ever lose sight of that. So as long as you and I stay obsessed about helping people get the results that we're talking about, then we can charge premium pricing, which means we now have the finances to be able to create that world-class experience. And so that is your advantage because it begins to shape customer expectations. When you're providing an experience that's up here and everybody else is down here, you immediately separate yourself from everybody in the marketplace and you become the obvious choice, especially if you continue to do this today and you continue to get results. It's going to build that reputation. And so, Aim, I want to ask you, like, as people are thinking about designing this whole transformation ecosystem that we're talking about, where do they even begin?
Oh, well, I love a good step by step. So let's break it out. Let's break it down in steps. Step one is you want to design your implementation program. Remember, it's not just about information anymore. It's getting people into action. Action creates clarity. So when you're designing your implementation program, how do you get them to move to the finish line? Let that be your number one priority. Think frameworks, roadmaps, blueprints that actually are doable for the audience in terms of where they are now.
Before you go on to step number 2, I just want to pause there because you said something earlier, and I hope people caught it, that I think is very relevant to this step 1. And that is, you were saying in your program, you have ways in which people can get personalized feedback.
Yes.
And so I'm wondering if you can kind of speak to the way in which you are reimagining the experience that people are having to support them in the implementation, as well as things like AI tools and
Yes.
prompts and stuff like that. Can you kind of speak to that a little bit?
Absolutely. So first, about the reviews. We sat down as a team and we said, I've been doing this program for a while, so I know where my students get stuck. And we said, okay, let's review again. Where are they getting stuck and why? One of the places they get stuck is they're not getting enough people to sign up for their webinar. It's not their webinar topic. It's not their audience. It's their webinar reg page. It's not built to convert. So I teach that in my program, but still, when you're new at it, you're not going to get it right out of the gate. So we have them put it together, and then we have a system. Here's how you submit for a review. My coaches are well versed on what works and doesn't, and they're so good, they can do it pretty quickly. It's not like they're spending an hour on each student. So they know what to look for. If you give me a webinar, I could tell you in 20 minutes what's wrong with it. So that kind of knowledge behind the scenes is working for us. They'll review it. They'll send you an email, give you the information. And we do this at certain points throughout my program because the goal is to get them to the finish line. If they get stuck, they're not getting there. So that review and that feedback is so valuable. That's one thing. We also have Porter, which is our bot inside of my program, but it's programmed as a suite of tools. It's not just one bot. It is actually programmed for each module you go through, and it prompts you so you know what questions to ask it to actually get your work done. So that Porter is now the implementation assistant throughout your entire experience.
I love that. It's like somebody who's holding your hand through the whole experience.
Absolutely.
and prompting you all along the way to ask the right questions.
Yes, exactly. So those are just 2 examples of how to make this more of an implementation program versus just here's a bunch of information. I hope you like it.
Yeah, and I'll give you one other example. There's a gentleman in our community. His name's Cody Birch. He's an awesome dude. He teaches email marketing. And he recently has had tremendous success in walking people through like the theory of what to include in different email campaigns, showing them examples. But then he has like a GPT that literally people answer a couple questions and it builds the campaigns that he's talking about for them. Now, do they need to go back and make a few tweaks? For sure, but it's dramatically increased the number of students who are actually implementing the thing that he's teaching. So it comes right back to your step number 1, which is design your implementation program.
Absolutely. Okay, so step number 2 is to launch and refine with your founding group. So this is something, Stu, I actually learned from you, and now I do it in my own program, where if you're going to launch your program for the very first time, think about maybe launching it before you even create it so you can validate your idea, build up a little confidence, build up a little cash. And so you can have your founding members knowing this is going to work, and then you can create it and launch it in a bigger way. I mean, you've seen huge success with this with your students, as have I.
Yeah, it's crazy because sometimes the biggest hurdle is just like getting out of your own way. And, if you can just simplify it to the point where like there's literally no reason why you couldn't launch it like this week, and you just make it so stinking simple, and you remove all the pressure that it's got to be this big thing. It's just like, no, this is just an experiment. We're just going to float an idea out, see if people like it, and if they like it, great, we'll double down and we'll do it. If they don't, then we got to change things up. But like, remove that pressure and just launch it in the most simple, easy way with the sole focus of that. It doesn't have to be this big thing right out of the gate. It's more about getting a group of people that you can work with to refine the idea, as you said.
Yes. And gone are the days of everything needs to be polished and professional. And if you think it needs to be, someone else is going to get it done a whole lot faster than you. So it's okay to be scrappy and a little messy. If you saw what I first put out or what Stu first put out when we were getting started, you would die. Although here we are. And so let it be messy, let it be scrappy. That's the whole point. Okay,
Okay,
so
Amy,
what?
I just got to ask you, when you filmed your first course, what kind of setup did you have? Do you remember?
Well, first of all, I had a really cute little bob that everyone makes fun of me of my hair. And I had a lamp on like 10 books and a white background. It was my wall. Like it was hideous.
Okay, mine. This is so it's so silly to say, but like I didn't have any help or anything, so I had like a camera. So I'd go around and I'd push onto the camera and I'd come back and I'd be like, okay. And then I'd be like, 3, 2, 1. And then I'd say it. And then of course, when I would stop, I'd go and it was so cheeseball. Like when you go back and look at it, my edits were not good. Like you can kind of see me like going around. So brutal. But here we are, as you said.
Here we are. Here we are. One more. I had my husband film a video and I found it and he's filming it and he's in the mirror behind me the whole time.
Oh,
Yeah,
Toby just needed a shout out. That's all. That's
he
all.
wanted to be part of it.
Okay, so step 1, design your implementation program. Step 2, launch and refine with a founding group. What's step 3?
Step 3 is to add your support community. Now, this has always been a step. We always encourage you to have a support community. It's on steroids now. Now that the world of AI, remember, information, not as valuable. Support and implementation is everything. So reimagine how you might want to support the people in your community, whether it be Voxer, Slack, Facebook community, Circle. Think of a different new cool way. You could do office hours. I don't know if you can think of anything else, Stewie, but these are the ways that we're going to really show up for people because that is what they need. And the support lends itself to the accountability.
Yeah, I would add membership.io to that for sure. And
Of course.
the other side of it is like just thinking about from a support standpoint, like how you can create those accountability groups and the opportunities for people to interact with each other in small groups. So I know you do a lot of this. We do where everybody will come onto a Zoom. We break into small groups. There's a lot of masterminding that's happening there that's super valuable for people. But you got to think of those things ahead of time so that you can plan them and you can coordinate them with the students that are coming through the program.
And it doesn't have to be forever. Mine is 8 weeks. And I know during those 8 weeks, I am on and afterwards I can take a break. So it's not something that needs to exhaust you as the course creator.
Yeah. Okay. So step number 3, as you said, was add your support community. Are there any more steps?
One more step. Step 4 is to optimize and automate. So one of my secrets to success that I have done since almost the very beginning is I'm not about creating a course, launching it, and then going on to the next thing. Absolutely not. My goal is to have all of my students rinse and repeat, or in this case, optimize and automate. And so once you get it out there, now we're just making it better, the course better, your marketing better. And when you're ready, you can put that whole thing on evergreen. So now you truly are making money while you sleep. So there's a process here. We're going to do the main thing once, and then we're going to be rewarded for years to come. I've been launching the same course since 2019.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy when I was just thinking about it as you were saying it, like you take both of us, we have been focused on the same thing for years and years and years. Like I'm coming up on 10 years with the same program. Isn't that crazy?
Yes.
So, but to that point, like there's so much I want to say like intellectual capital, so to speak. That's a big fancy word to say, like you learn a lot over that time. And instead of like hitting the reset button and trying to do all the learning from scratch again, you just every year just get better and better and better through what you're talking about, optimizing and automating.
And one thing I want to add to that is a lot of people listening right now, they would love to be known for something, because when you're known for something, your name pops up when you're not even in the room. Opportunities are open to you all the time, and new things come your way that you wouldn't even imagine. Plus, there's amazing loyalty. Stu and I are great examples of that. It's not any kind of mistake. I am known for teaching courses. Stu is known for teaching memberships. It's because we've stayed in our lane with our courses in our programs for a very long time. So sometimes I know you can kind of get a little antsy. Iterate with the program. Don't start a bunch of new things. Become known for something and you will see it benefit your revenue.
Yeah. And, you said something earlier when I was asking you about what are you doing to support people in the implementation? You said, well, we ask ourselves, like, where are people getting stuck?
Yeah.
Like, that's where the creativity comes in, is just obsessing over the friction points that prevent people from implementing and getting the outcome. And that's where the creativity comes in. And that's where you can reimagine and redesign things and incorporate the things that we're talking about here to create an experience that gets more and more people to the finish line.
Yes, absolutely. So that next year, you are scaling while other people are scrambling to catch up. Before we wrap up, I really want everyone to hear that. It's not okay for you to stay on the sidelines anymore. It's not okay to say, let's see what happens with AI. It's not okay to say, we'll wait and see where courses and memberships are going. No, they're going, they're moving in this new ecosystem. Jump on it so you're not scrambling next year and remembering this conversation and thinking, I wish I did something about that.
Well, the prediction is clear, my friends. Transformation ecosystems are the winner. And AI isn't your competition. It is your co-pilot. You've heard so many different examples in this conversation of how Amy's using it, how I'm using it, how our communities are using it. And starting now is the thing that gives you the advantage. Amy, I'm wondering if you can talk about a very incredible experience that you have coming up for people who are wanting to grow their digital business.
Yes. So once a year, I open the doors to Digital Course Academy. It's my signature program where I teach you how to create and launch a digital course from scratch. You do not need a big audience. You do not need a big team, and you do not need a lot of money or how to figure out a lot of tech to actually do this right. If you've waited this long, it might be your advantage right now that you've learned how to take advantage of this and how to run with it. And one thing cool about Digital Course Academy is we have the implementation framework, we have the community, we have the support, we have the accountability, and it's a very meta program, meaning I'll show you how I do it to teach you, and now you can see it in practice to do it in your own course. I walk the talk, and so you'll see everything we talked about today come to life in Digital Course Academy, and then I'll teach you how to do it for your own course.
It's amazing. We have been recommending it for years and years and years. Thousands of our students have come through Amy's program, and we want to encourage you to go through it as well. You'll see the link below where I am including some additional exclusive bonuses, including the tools to help you make it happen. Listen, at the end of the day, by 2026, this will be the only way in which courses and memberships are being delivered. They're going to be that transformational ecosystem where it's more of a combination than two completely separate things. So we just want to encourage you to start building yours today. Amy, thank you so much. Any final words for everybody?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I love talking courses and memberships with you. And I just want to remind everyone, you do have a course in you. You are ready. All you have to do is have the courage to get started.